There's like this overwhelming sense of machismo in the Army. You gotta be tough, gotta be this. So nobody wants to say, hey, this is what's really going on.
Tonight, Frontline investigates the invisible wounds of war.
I was in a Frontline documentary called The Wounded Platoon. The documentary was about the after effects of the operation in Iraq. It showed how the Army was not adequately equipped with handling soldiers with PTSD. On a daily basis, it's very likely that you would see things that would be upsetting to most people. You're trained not to think about it. You're trained to simply do as you're told, and you get to go do it all over again the next day. There was a huge explosion. I stepped off the gun to go help, and I stepped right into a pool of blood, Sergeant Huey's blood. That's where he had been hurt.
7 soldiers from 3rd Platoon were badly wounded. Sergeant Huey was in the worst shape.
The shrapnel went through his femoral artery, and he eventually passed away. When our platoon lost Sergeant Huey, we lost our heart.
The bomb that killed Huey devastated the soldiers of 3rd Platoon. The soldiers who were there that day are now scattered across the United States. They are still haunted by what happened.
Talk to a psychologist when you first get back, when they're trying to debrief you or whatever. I just figured I was okay.
I think a lot of soldiers came back and they were trying to suppress the PTSD. And one of the ways you suppress is by doing cocaine.
That's all I wanted to do was drugs. If your mind was wandering before and you had trouble shutting it off, all of a sudden, oddly enough, you know, you're giddy as all hell whenever you snort cocaine. Doing these drugs, it'll flood your system with serotonin and dopamine, and the next day, you know, you feel like complete ass. So what do? You do more of it.
Nash failed 2 Army drug tests. He says he then asked his commanders for help dealing with the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Nash's medical records show that he did alert Fort Carson doctors to his PTSD symptoms. The assessment concluded he was a current risk for harm to self or others. Shortly afterwards, Nash was discharged from the Army with no PTSD diagnosis and what's called an other than honorable discharge.
I lost the GI Bill, health insurance. I thought that I lost help.
It's now 4 years since David Nash was thrown out of the Army. He's still unemployed. He avoids crowds.
When I first talked to frontline people, I was lost. My mental state was in turmoil. I was a very unhappy person, you know, smile on the outside, cry on the inside. Right after the broadcast of the documentary, the VA called me, and they're like, hey, we'd like to start the process of getting you your health benefits back. You know, it like rejuvenated my life. And all of a sudden, you just hear boom, and a big old mushroom cloud.
How does it feel talking about it?
I don't know, just sad, I guess. I don't know, sad, angry. I already had a counselor at the Veterans Center, and he helped tremendously.
Best definition of PTSD I ever heard. It's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation.
Just, it's like this weight had been lifted off my shoulders. It's all because of WGBH and Frontline. It helped me, and if there's a person like me, then there's 100. And if there's 100, then there's 1,000. The future is very clear. I get my bachelor's, get accepted to medical school. From then, you know, Dr. Nash, you're looking at him.